What's up, y'all? Goofy Rexy here, and welcome back, guys, to the beginner series here. We're going to be recapping week number 18. So, as you guys already know, from last week, the Kestrel event, we had Shuri and Invisible Woman that we were going to unlock. So, we're going to talk about Shuri, Invisible Woman, where, we put them after we unlocked them, how far were we able to get them leveled up here. Kestrel, where are we right now for shards with her, and where are we looking to get, over this next week? And also, how close are we to getting Magneto and a few other things in this video? Where are we farming characters for campaigns, farming store? How are we now transitioning on that legendary farming guide that we talked about at the beginning of the year? So let's get into it right now, guys. So we unlocked Shuri and Invisible Woman, as you guys already know already. And Shuri, this is where we're able to leave the characters. Now, I know ideally I would like to bring them up a little bit higher, but this week we focused very heavily on getting Kestrel and also getting Silver Surfer, leveled up and putting some more work into our arena team. So we kind of left them here right now. I think over the next week and a half or so, you're going to see me bring them up to at least level 60, gear tier 10, for them to be a little bit more effective on my roster. But as of right now, this is where they stand. Now, we're probably going to be using Invisible Woman. We're going to be using her in our arena team. Right now, Hela is kind of falling out of being useful in my arena shard because more people are getting Kestrel. It's becoming a little bit more difficult now, with her not having Greg. She's maybe not as effective. Now, I will say I am using her and Silver Surfer together. So being able to spread the ability blocks. Oh, and also Kestrel. So I pretty much basically put ability block, put the defense down on characters, spread that to everyone. And the matchup normally goes pretty quickly from there. So she may still actually find a place on my arena team, but I think maybe Invisible Woman might give us a little bit more sustain, for that team, because there are going to be some bigger matchups where we're facing maybe 70, 80K punch-ups. So I think Invisible Woman will help us out there, just adding a little bit more sustain to the team. Shuri, on the other hand, we're going to be pushing, to use her in raids. Right now I'm using Captain America. I'll actually show you what I'm using for my raid team right now. It's not a solid raid team whatsoever. It's effective. We're able to get all the way up to here and a little bit past that right now, based on the lane that I'm running. I actually do need to finish up some of these nodes here. So we're going to be doing that right after this video. But this is the team that I'm using right now. And as you can see, man, Captain America is a little bit out of place. Now, I do use him just to kind of take on some hits to keep it away from, Minerva. But I think probably replacing Cap, getting Shuri to give more timely defense ups and also giving us a little bit more, still also providing some energy, things like that, I think would be a little bit more helpful in terms of sustain, than having Cap. Cap is okay right now. He does have a healer ISO, so he does help the team out a little bit, but I do think a little bit more sustain with Shuri would be better, especially considering that she's going to have higher stars and higher red stars as well than Cap currently at the moment. So that I think is going to be better, for us moving forward. So I think that's where we're going to end up with, both of these characters. I think if later on Invisible Woman will probably put together a Fantastic Four team with Silver Surfer for war offense. Not a priority right now, but maybe in the future. And Shuri, obviously right now, she just gives me an option to use for Chaos Theory. So I don't have Black Panther yet, so I can't do the tier 5 version of the event, but you only need 4 Wakandan characters to do tier 1 through 4. And Shuri is that 4th character for me because I already do have Okoye. I do also as well have M'Baku and Killmonger. So, I at least have the option now to actually go through some of Chaos Theory and get some extra promotion credits, which could be useful later on. Maybe not right now, but definitely could be useful later on my roster. Also wanted to show you my arena team too, just so you guys have an idea. I think somebody had asked me, hey, what does your arena team look like? So this is what my arena team looks like right now. This is what I'm using currently. Mr. Sinister is there to just provide some clones, some valuable clones that I need. I'll be honest, a lot of the matchups that I do face, I typically don't need his clones. The matchups go so fast. Like I said, with Kestrel, with Zemo blowing up on turn 1, blowing up on turn 2. On turn 2, the ability block, the defense down, Hela spreading those. The matchups usually go relatively quickly, but there are some times where I'm even doing 100K punch-ups in arena. And, I do need a solid clone. And some of these matchups right here become difficult, right, with this team, so therefore I might need a good clone with Captain America to give some energy, to give some defense up. Asgardians, I may clone another Hela, so it all depends on the matchup of what it looks like right now. But yeah, that's pretty much basically what our Arena Shard looks like. Now with Kestrel, this is where we landed with Kestrel on our roster for the first week and a couple days of the event. So she's currently right now at 3 stars. Obviously you got 3 reds from doing the event. That was part of the milestones, for the event. So we got her at 3 and 3. We stopped doing the 100 cores, the extra 100 cores a day. So we're only doing 200 cores a day right now for the event, which is probably the reason why I don't already have her at least within 30 shards away from getting her to 4. But we're going to be able to, I think we're going to be able to do this relatively easy. We have 6 days left in the event. Not worried about being able to get her to 4 stars. I'll tell you this right now, at 3 and 3, man, she's doing exactly what I need her to do right now. She's insane everywhere she goes. Both her and Silver Surfer together are amazing. Then you have Silver Surfer, Zemo, and Kestrel together. It becomes a dynamic duo. And of course, you guys already know I'm using Hela as well to spread, some of those debuffs, which is incredibly relevant. I am now at the point where I'm processing whether or not I want to bring Kestrel in as a Dark Dimension character, for DD2. I'm not sure yet. I'm not quite convinced, that I want to do it yet. I do know that she does really good damage, but I do think that Silver Surfer gives me a little bit more control in Dark Dimension, and I'm not sure that her damage is extremely relevant, for Dark Dimension 2. She's not a bad option. She's definitely a character that's worth investing in. I'm just not sure whether or not I need to overkill, with Kestrel to bring her into Dark Dimension 2, but she definitely is a consideration at this point. I just don't know if I need to. So we'll figure that out a little bit later on, and we'll do an updated list of our Dark Dimension 2 characters that I'm thinking about sometime a little bit later on. Now, just to give you kind of a quick update on where we are in terms of farming characters. So these right here are the 5 characters that I'm currently farming. You can see Mystique, which is obvious. We're looking to get Magneto. So obviously we're farming Mystique. We are 14 shards away from being able to get her to 5 stars. As far as I'm concerned, actually, she is the only character right now that I need to get to 5 stars to be able to unlock Magneto. So we know that that's going to be rolling around relatively soon, so it's good to be able to get these shards on her. Miss Marvel, we talked about last week, block party character, also a character that's going to need to get to 5 stars as well because she's an Inhuman, and there's no reliability really of Yo-Yo, being able to farm her to unlock Ebony Maw later. So therefore, Miss Marvel is going to take over that role. And Miss Marvel is also a character that I can use for some of those city areas, right? The Hero City areas, Hero 7, Chapter 1, the challenges where the Gold Rush challenges where you need Hero City characters or you need city characters in order to be able to do it. So she becomes relevant there. Night Nurse, same thing. Night Nurse is more of a passive farm. It's not an everyday farm for me. I would like to get her to 3 stars. I would like to get her to 4 stars, but it's more of a passive farm. She becomes a little bit more relevant to me late game. But as you guys know from last week, we talked about this. I'm going to be focusing a little bit more now on getting prepared for late game content because all of the early stuff that I really kind of need to do is essentially almost all done. So we really kind of just need to start focusing on what do we do once we get to level 70. And this is more of one of those things. Hero City character, again, she'll be effective, for the challenges for Block Party once we get to Hero 7. So that's the reason why she's there. Quake right now, she's an Inhuman character. I don't have any other heroes that I need to farm at the moment. So Quake is, if you guys remember the beginner farmer guide that I did back in January, Quake was on that list to start farming once you get to like phase 4, phase 5, so therefore Quake is here right now as a character. She's an Inhuman. I will be able to use her to unlock Ebony Maw later. So therefore, there's absolute relevance in me farming her right now. And Ghost Rider, the city hero character that we're farming. Once Mystique falls off the list, I think Nobu may replace her because we could use Nobu to actually unlock Phoenix. So that may be that we may replace Mystique there. Once Ghost Rider once we unlock Ghost Rider, we're most likely going to put Loki on there because remember, Loki can also unlock Phoenix, but more importantly, he can also be used to unlock Black Bolt, because you need Black Bolt before you get to, be able to unlock Ebony Maw, so therefore we're going to kind of cycle it through. So once again, we're following the beginner's farmer guide a little bit here. Ghost Rider was not on that list, but as we kind of looked at end game content, we understood that we're going to need some city hero characters. And being that we are free to play, we're playing this account free to play. He's one of the better options that we have. And since we're playing for late game, he was definitely relevant at that point. But we'll talk a little bit more about campaign farms later for the stores. Now, we're done with Toad. We don't need Toad anymore. Toad is already at 5 stars. So we're primarily opening up Blitz orbs. There's no character that is a pressing need for us. So we're opening up, which is the reason why you see my credit so low. We're opening up Blitz orbs at the moment so that we can grab any shards that we possibly can. We've landed some Strife shards, which are relevant. We've landed some Ant-Man shards, which we're going to need later on. We've had Miles drop, which we could use him later too. So there's been some valuable shards that we've gotten. Gamora, eventually, Star-Lord now is going to be a part of that earlier rotation. So he's going to be moving in through his legendary cycle a little bit quicker. So Gamora becomes far more relevant on the roster there. And yes, we've been landing some She-Hulk shards. She's another Hero City character. She could become relevant at some point. Not a great character, but she could become relevant. Maybe I want to use She-Hulk with Fantastic Four as opposed to using Namor. We'll see, right? But shards are shards, and it's important to be able to unlock characters and continue to get more shards on them, right? For our raid store, we are mix and matching. We're target farming Thor whenever we see him, which we saw him earlier today, right before the noon store reset time. So therefore, that's the reason why our numbers are down here. Otherwise, if I have, let's say 3,000 credits or something like that, I'll open up some orbs because once again, I can get shards for other characters that are relevant. Cyclops is here, Zemo shards are there. So there's other things that we can get from the store. So therefore we open up orbs whenever we can. And then for the arena store, we're almost done with Blob. Now this is the one that's a little bit tricky for me because I don't know exactly where I'm going to go yet. There's Crystal, that's important. There is Heimdall, that's also important. And yes, theoretically, Heimdall is important for Black Bolt, but Crystal is also important for Ebony Maw. So I think wisdom would tell me maybe to go with Crystal first, just because I can have impact for her right now. Heimdall is not really impactful until I'm ready to unlock Black Bolt. And being that we cannot get to the Hela node yet, we can actually find some impact for Crystal first. But then there's also, Baron Mordo as well, who we can use once we do get to Villains Chapter 7. He's only at 2 stars right now. We're going to need him at least at 4 or potentially at 5 stars once we get to that Villains 7-6 node. So it might make sense to start, targeting him down now. And because the arena store is so quick, we can probably cycle back to Heimdall later. So maybe the wisest decision might be to start target farming Mordo, get him to 4 or 5 stars, and then come back to Crystal. We'll have to figure out exactly which direction we want to go in when it comes to that. And then for the war store, we're grabbing mini uniques. We're grabbing superior uniques, which, whenever we see them, astral energy, gamma radiation, things like that. Whenever we see them here, we will grab them. Vibranium, not so relevant right now, but we're primarily grabbing those hero uniques, those superior uniques, for characters. And Sif is already at 5 stars. So every now and again, I will grab another character that I think will be impactful, like X-23. We stopped farming Minerva because we have the calendar for Minerva. So therefore, we're going to be getting the shards that we need for her there. So no real need for me to grab the shards, I think, from the store at the moment. But this is kind of where we are. We're holding on to these credits because we are waiting until we get the Orange Gear War Orb 2, because those are going to have the G15s. I am confident that based on me knowing what I need for Doom campaigns, that I won't need the Orange Gear War Orb 2, because I'll just focus on farming the mini uniques that I need, once I get to Doom campaigns. So we're not opening up these orbs yet and wait until we get the Orange Gear War Orb 2. So that we can grab those G15s, when the time comes for us to do so. But listen, this is kind of where we are right now. Dark promo credits. We did open up a few orbs here, to see where we would land, for these dark promo credits. Ultron is not relevant to our account yet. We're still 4 levels off getting to level 70. We're still which means that we're probably about that far off as well from getting to, we at least need to get a character to level 70 before we can get him to gear tier 13. So we're that far away from being able to do Dark Dimension 2. So opening up when there's not a feature character in there, I still think you want to do that even for earlier accounts, because as you know, whatever character is in there right now before there's a feature character is still going to be there. So you can still get red stars on them anyways. And you want to get good red stars on newer characters because of power creep in this game. And, you know, at some point in time, that new character is going to be more relevant as you approach later games. So that's the reason why I think it's best to hold on to your orbs, onto your red star orbs until there's a feature character in there, you know, and just be patient where that's concerned, which means that I'll probably be forfeiting, you know, some of these dark promo credits, you know, that I could eventually get good red stars on Ultron. But I just feel like because I'm not getting a lot of red stars, I just feel like it's best to wait until we get that feature character so that I can potentially land good red stars on them. But that is where we are right now with the baby account. We'll have some more stuff to talk about a little bit next week. You'll see me being able to use Shuri and Invisible Woman potentially, and then we'll go through that. Then we'll also do a little bit more of a campaign update and talk about that as well. But appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions about anything, y'all let me know. Otherwise, y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.